Listen to me. Before you check your phone, before you check your followers, before you check your email, check your heart. Are you grateful? Did you wake up this morning with breath in your lung, with strength in your body? That's a gift, not a guarantee. You better recognize it. You better recognize it. You're not entitled to this day. You were blessed with it. And when you start your day with gratitude, your perspective shifts. You stop complaining and you start conquering. You stop dragging and you stop driving. You stop looking for excuses and start executing. When you say thank you first thing in the morning, you tell your mind, we're ready for war, but we're grounded in peace. Gratitude ain't weak, it's power. It's the reason I grind the way I do, because I remember what it felt like to have nothing. So now that I got something, I honor it. Every single morning, you got one shot at this thing called life. One. I need you to understand something right now. Waking up is not normal. It's not automatic. It's not guaranteed. It's not promised. You didn't wake yourself up this morning. You didn't earn the right to open your eyes. That was a gift, a miracle. And you're walking around like it's no big deal. You're walking around with your head down, worried about bills, worried about people, worried about things that honestly in the big picture don't even matter. And the truth is, you've already been blessed beyond belief the moment you opened your eyes. Do you know how many people didn't wake up this morning? Do you understand how many people went to bed last night with plans for today? They were gonna go to work. They were gonna call their mama. They were gonna work out. They had meetings on the calendar. They had goals they were chasing. And they never made it out of the bed. That's real. You think life is playing with you? You think time is just gonna keep giving you second chances? Nah, life is fragile. Life is short. And when you understand that truth deep in your soul, you start living different. You stop wasting time. You stop playing small. You stop waking up bitter. You stop wasting energy on petty stuff because you realize this day is a gift. You didn't have to get it, but you did. And now you got to decide what you're going to do with it. You're going to waste it. You're going to waste it. You're going to let it slip through your fingers. You're going to scroll your way into mediocrity, or you're going to own it, seize it, use it. Every single morning I wake up and I say, oh, thank you, because I know what it's like to be down bad. I know what it's like to feel like I ain't got nothing. I know what it's like to sleep in an abandoned building, to dig in the trash for food, to be invisible, to feel worthless. And I also know what it's like to wake up with purpose, with fire, with drive, because I realized I was wasting God's gift every time I opened my eyes and treated the day like it was trash. You can't get time back. You can't replay today tomorrow. Once it's gone, it's gone, it's gone. And we treat it like it don't matter. We walk through the day distracted, disengaged, disconnected from who we are and what we're supposed to be doing. You gotta snap out of that. You gotta look in the mirror and remind yourself, I'm alive. I've got 86,400 seconds today. I've been given an opportunity people prayed for and never got. You weren't owed this day. You weren't entitled to it. You didn't get it because you earned it. You got it because somebody up there still sees something in you. A mission, a purpose, a calling, something bigger than your fear, bigger than your laziness, bigger than your excuses. And the question is, are you gonna waste the gift? You walk around talking about how tired you are. You tired? There's somebody right now who would kill to be in your shoes. Somebody who would give anything to walk, to talk, to breathe without a machine, to hug their kids again. And you complaining? You upset because it's Monday? You mad because your coffee order got messed up? Come on, man. Wake up. This life, this breath, is not promised. You get one shot. One. I'm telling you right now, I don't waste my days no more. Not because I'm special. Not because I'm better than anybody. But because I remember. I remember where I came from. I remember the pain. I remember the loss. And I remember that tomorrow is not guaranteed. That's why I go so hard. That's why I grind the way I grind. That's why I speak the way I speak. Because I'm not playing with the time I've been given. I'm not gambling with grace. I'm not disrespecting the breath in my lungs by living average. You looking for motivation? You looking for a sign to get up and get it? Here it is. You woke up. That's your sign. That's your blessing. That's your permission. You don't need a motivational quote. You don't need a pep talk. You need to realize the power of this moment right here. This day, this opportunity, you get to live it. You get to shape it. You get to define what it becomes. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for everything to be lined up. Stop waiting to feel ready. You ready now? You were made ready the moment you opened your eyes. Life handed you the ball today. Now run with it. Do something, build something, love somebody, forgive somebody, create, teach, learn. Whatever it is, just don't waste it. You got one shot at this thing called life. One. I need you to understand something. Right now, waking up is not normal. It's not automatic. It's not guaranteed. It's not promised. You didn't wake yourself up this morning. You didn't earn the right to open your eyes. That was a gift, a miracle. And you're walking around like it's no big deal. You're walking around with your head down, worried about bills, worried about people, worried about things that honestly, in the big picture, don't even matter. And the truth is, you've already been blessed beyond belief the moment you opened your eyes. Do you know how many people didn't wake up this morning? Do you understand how many people went to bed last night with plans for today? They were going to go to work. They were going to call their mama. They were going to work out. They had meetings on the calendar. They had goals they were chasing, and they never made it out of the bed. That's real. You think life is playing with you? You think time is just going to keep giving you second chances? Nah, life is fragile. Life is short. Life is short. And when you understand that truth deep in your soul, you start living different. You stop wasting time. You stop playing small. You stop waking up bitter. You stop wasting energy on petty stuff because you realize this day is a gift. You didn't have to get, but you did. Well, you did. And now you got to decide what you're going to do with it. You're going to waste it? You're going to let it slip through your fingers? You're going to scroll your way into mediocrity, or you're going to own it, seize it, use it? Every single morning I wake up and I say thank you because I know what it's like to be down bad. I know what it's like to feel like I ain't got nothing. I know what it's like to sleep in abandoned buildings, to dig into trash for food, to be invisible, to feel worthless. And I also know what it's like to wake up with purpose, with fire, with drive. Because I realized I was wasting God's gift every time I opened my eyes and treated the day like it was trash. You can't get time back. You can't replay today, tomorrow. Once it's gone, and we treat it like it don't matter. We walk through the day distracted, disengaged, disconnected from who we are and what we're supposed to be doing. You gotta snap out of that. You gotta look in the mirror and remind yourself, I'm alive. I've got 86,400 seconds today. I've been given an opportunity people prayed for and never got. You weren't owed this day. You weren't entitled to it. You didn't get it because you earned it. You got it because somebody up there still sees something in you. A mission, a purpose, a calling, something bigger than your fear, bigger than your laziness, bigger than your excuses. And the question is, are you gonna waste a gift? You walk around talking about how tired you are. You tired. There's somebody right now who would kill to be in your shoes. Somebody who would give anything to walk, to talk, to breathe without a machine, to hug their kids again. And you complaining? You upset because it's Monday? You mad because your coffee order got messed up? Come on, man, wake up. This life, this bread, it's not promised. You get one shot, one. I'm telling you right now, I don't waste my days no more. Not because I'm special, not because I'm better than anybody, but because I remember where I came from. I remember the pain. I remember the loss. And I remember that tomorrow is not guaranteed. That's why I go so hard. That's why I grind the way I grind. That's why I speak the way I speak. Because I'm not playing with the time, I'm playing with the time I've been given. I'm not gambling with grace. I'm not disrespecting the breath in my lungs by living average. You looking for motivation, you looking for a sign to get up and get. Here it is. You woke up. That's your sign. That's your blessing. That's your permission. You don't need a motivational quote. You don't need a pep talk. You need to realize the power of this moment right here. This day, this opportunity, you get to live it. You get to shape it. You get to define what it becomes. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for everything to be lined up. Stop waiting to feel ready. You ready now? You were made ready the moment you opened your eyes. Life handed you the ball today. Now run with it. Do something. Build something. Love somebody. Forgive somebody. Create. Teach. Learn whatever it is, just don't waste it. There are people who would trade their problems for yours. People who would swap their struggles for your chances. But you too busy looking at what you don't have to recognize what you do have. And I'm telling you, that's a dangerous mindset. Because when you take this day for granted, you block the blessings that were trying to reach you. When you complain about the gift, you insult the giver. You ever feel like you're drowning in problems? Every time you take a step forward, life hits you with something that pushes you 3 steps back. You ever sit in silence and wonder, why me? Why does it always have to be so hard? I get it, I've been there. But let me tell you something right now. The problem isn't the problem. It's how you see the problem. It's the lens you're looking through. And the lens you're using, that's shaped by one thing, your gratitude. See, when you live with gratitude, you don't just see the pain, you see the purpose. You don't just see the mountain. You see the strength that's building in you as you climb. You don't just see the bills, you see the roof over your head and the hustle still inside you. Gratitude doesn't change your situation, it changes you. It shifts your mindset, it rewires your heart. It gives you perspective. But here's the problem. Too many of us wake up complaining. We start the day with a negative mindset. It's too early, it's too cold, the bed's too warm, the job's too hard, we get out the bed already defeated. And then we wonder why the rest of the day feels like a battle. Come on, you gave up before you even got in the ring. Your perspective is broken because your gratitude is missing. You so focused on what's wrong that you can't see what's still right. You woke up, you can breathe, you can move. You got another chance to get it right. That ain't small. That's everything. But if all you focus on is the hurt, the struggle, the unfairness, then that's all your mind will let you see. The enemy wins not because he's stronger than you, but because he blinded you to your blessings. I need you to stop and look around. I don't care if you're in a 1-bedroom apartment, sleeping on a mattress on the floor, scraping pennies just to eat. You got something to be grateful for. You got people that love you. You got a future waiting for you. You got a chance to fight another day. That's perspective. You're not stuck, you're being sharpened. You're not cursed, you're being called to rise. Let me break it down. 2 people can be in the same storm, facing the same conditions, but one of them is sinking while the other one is sailing. What's the difference? Perspective. One is focused on the waves, the other on the destination. One is angry at the rain, the other is thankful for the lesson. That's what gratitude does. It gives you the power to see your struggle as training, not torture. I remember the nights I slept in abandoned buildings, no heat, no food, no money. And I ain't gonna lie, there were moments I felt forgotten, moments I felt invisible. But you know what kept me alive? Gratitude. I looked up and said, God, I don't understand it, but I'm still breathing. I still got a heartbeat. That means I still got a heartbeat. I learned to see every single day as a classroom. And even when the lessons hurt, I stayed grateful because I knew I was still learning. That perspective changed my life. See, when you operate with gratitude, you stop focusing on what's missing and start focusing on what's possible. You stop saying, why me? And start saying, try me. You stop looking at your problems like a burden and start seeing them as building blocks. You're not broken, you're being rebuilt. And the tools God uses to rebuild you, they don't always feel good, but they always do good. You gotta stop measuring your life by what you don't have. You comparing your journey to people on Instagram who don't even show you the real story. You mad at your grind. You mad at your grind because somebody else is shining. You angry at your struggle because somebody else is coasting, but you don't know their path. You don't know their pain. You don't know what they had to give up to get what they got. So stop looking sideways and start looking inside, because gratitude says, I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. You can have peace in the storm if your perspective is rooted in gratitude. You can have joy in the struggle if you train your heart to see the beauty in small things. That smile from a stranger, that unexpected call from a friend, that quiet moment where you realize you still haven't quit. Gratitude opens your eyes to what's already working in your life. And when you start seeing wins, even small ones, you start attracting bigger ones. That's real. The world is loud. It tells you to chase more, want more, buy more. But gratitude says a pause. Look, appreciate. You've been running so fast trying to get there that you don't even see the miracles happening here. That breath, that beat in your chest, that progress you made, that lesson you learned, it all matters. Every piece is sacred when you have the right. Let me tell you this, gratitude isn't soft. It's not some fluffy feel-good vibe. It's warrior fuel, it's power. Because when life throws you punches and you stand up and say, thank you for the fight, you become dangerous. You think being tough means never crying, never breaking down? You think toughness is walking around like nothing touches you, nothing phases you? Nah, that's not toughness, that's pretending, that's hiding. Real toughness, the kind that keeps you moving forward when everything says quit. The kind that lets you take blow after blow and still stand tall. That comes from gratitude. Yeah, you heard me right. Not anger, not ego, gratitude. See, people think gratitude is soft. They think it's just saying thank you and writing in a journal. But real gratitude, that's power. That's war ready. It's not weak, it's warrior level strength. You think it's easy to smile when everything's falling apart? You think it's easy to wake up and say thank you when your heart's broken, when your back's against the wall, when your dreams feel a million miles away? Nah, that takes mental muscle. That takes discipline. That takes heart. Because when you can be thankful in the middle of the storm, you stop giving the storm power over you. When you can say, I'm still here, even when you're hurting, you take control back. Gratitude doesn't mean you ignore the pain. It means you refuse to let the pain define you. You're not denying your reality. You're deciding how you respond to it. That's strength. That's resilience. That's mental toughness on another level. Listen, it's easy to be grateful when everything's going your way. When the bank account's full, the phone's blowing up with praise, the results are rolling in. But what about when nothing's working? When you're trying, but the door still won't open? When you're putting in the effort, but nobody's clapping for you, that's when the test comes. That's when gratitude becomes your armor. That's when it becomes your weapon, because now you're not reacting to life. You're commanding it. You see, mental toughness isn't about pretending things don't hurt. It's about hurting and moving in. It's about falling and rising anyway. It's about failing and believing anyway. And gratitude is the fire that fuels that. Because it reminds you that every single day you wake up is another shot, another chance. It shifts your focus from what you lost to what's still in your hands, from what broke you to what built you. I remember grinding through days where nothing made sense, sleeping on floors, watching people I came up with take off while I stayed stuck. I could have let bitterness take root. I could have been angry, but I made a choice. I chose gratitude. I said, I'm grateful for this test. I'm grateful for the dirt because I know diamonds are made there. You want to be mentally tough? Then start training your mind to find the light in the darkness. Gratitude is your flashlight when everything around you looks hopeless. You want discipline? You want discipline? You want to build that edge that separates the good from the great? You get there with gratitude, because gratitude keeps you grounded. Gratitude keeps you from giving up when nobody's watching. Gratitude keeps you showing up when the applause dies down, when the crowd walks away, when the hype fades. Gratitude reminds you why you started. It roots you deeper than motivation ever could. Motivation fades. Gratitude stays. And here's the realest part. The more grateful you are, the harder it is to break you. Because when life tries to shake you, you're anchored in something deeper. You're not relying on perfect conditions. You're building strength and imperfection. You're not waiting for the right time, no, except finding power in the now. Every time you say a thank you in the middle of chaos, you're training your brain to endure. You're teaching yourself how to survive the storm and walk out stronger. Gratitude builds perspective, but more than that, it builds endurance. You start to realize that struggle is part of the journey, not a sign you're failing. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, try me. You stop focusing on the pain and start focusing on the person you're becoming because of it. And that kind of mindset, that kind of inner strength, that's what gets you through the seasons when everything seems like it's falling apart. You ever seen somebody who's been through the fire and still has peace in their eyes? Somebody who's lost it all but still walks like they got everything? That's gratitude. That's mental toughness. That's someone who said, a life can't take what I don't give it. And I refuse to give it my joy. I refuse to give it my drive. I refuse to give it my hope. That's what gratitude does. It locks down your inner peace and keeps your vision clear. I've been in rooms where the lights were off, the money was gone, the world said I was done, but gratitude whispered was still breathing. That means God's not finished. That means the story's not over. You don't need perfect conditions to be powerful. You don't need comfort to be courageous. You just need the mindset to say, this is hard, but I'm grateful to grow through it. You ever feel like your mind is all over the place? Like you wake up and your thoughts already got you in a chokehold? One minute you're thinking about bills, then it's your goals, then it's what people said about you, then it's the past, the future, the fear, the doubt. It's like you can't even breathe. That right there, that's a distracted mind. That's a mind under attack. But let me tell you what slices through all that noise. Gratitude. I'm not talking about sitting in a circle and humming. I'm not talking about fake smiles and pretending everything's okay. I'm talking about that real, raw, unshakable gratitude that grounds you. That pulls your mind out of the clouds and push your feet back on the ground. Because when you're grateful, your mind ain't scattered, it's locked in. When you're grateful, you don't get pulled in 100 directions, you aim in one. See, a grateful mind is a focused mind. And you can't build your future if you can't focus. You can't build your dream if your attention's hijacked by everything that ain't helping you grow. The reason so many of us feel stuck is because we're trying to chase purpose while carrying distractions. We're trying to be successful, but we're focused on what we don't have. That's backwards. Gratitude flips the script. It tells your brain, hey, I might not be where I want to be, but I'm thankful not where I used to be. And boom, clarity shows up. You ever wake up in the morning and feel heavy even before the day starts? That ain't. It's because your body's tired. It's because your mind's cluttered. You're already carrying stress from yesterday, from last week, from what somebody said months ago. And what happens? You start your day in chaos. But when you wake up and the first thing out your mouth is a thank you. Thank you for this breath, this body, this shot to go again. Suddenly the noise starts to fade. Suddenly your vision gets sharper. Let me tell you something. You can't focus on fear and gratitude at the same time. Try being truly thankful and terrified in the same moment. You can't do it. Gratitude is like a light switch. You turn it on and it pushes the darkness out. That's why the most powerful people in the world start their day with it. That's why high performers, elite athletes, top CEOs, they talk about gratitude all the time. Not because it sounds good, but because it works. It keeps them centered. It keeps them clear. It keeps them from spiraling. And if you don't think clarity is a big deal, think about how many times confusion cost you. How many times you made the wrong move because your mind was cloudy. How many times you gave up too early, chased the wrong goal, trusted the wrong voice. Not because you didn't have potential, but because you couldn't see straight. You were too caught up in comparison, in pain, in stress. That's what a cluttered mind does. It leads you in circles. But gratitude cuts through that. It says, focus on what's in your hand. Focus on what's real. And suddenly the path gets clear. You know what else gratitude does? It silences the lies. It shuts up that voice that says you're not good enough, not smart enough, not far enough, not far enough. Because the moment you get grateful, you stop obsessing over where you're not, and you start appreciating where you are. You start recognizing what you do have, what is working, what has grown. And from that place, man, you can build anything. Some of y'all are trying to chase success with a distracted soul. You're trying to rise up while dragging every doubt and disappointment behind. You go. And you do that by being grateful now. Not when everything's perfect. Not when the goals are hit. Now. Because gratitude turns the volume down on chaos. It brings you back to the moment. And the moment is where power lives. You can't change yesterday. You can't control tomorrow. But right now, that's your arena. That's where you dominate. And gratitude locks you into now. You ever seen someone in the middle of their storm, but they got peace in their eyes? That's clarity. That's someone who's not letting their circumstances cloud their vision. That's someone who says, I'm one who says, I may be going through it, but I still see purpose in it. That's what gratitude does. It gives you that inner calm, that laser vision. And from that place, you make better decisions. You speak with more power. You move with more intention. I'm telling you, when you start your day with gratitude, you don't need to search for motivation. It finds you. You don't need to chase confidence. builds inside you. Because gratitude says, I already have what I need to take the next step. And when your mind believes that, it stops looking left and right. It starts looking forward. Some people walk around with goals, but no direction. Dreams, but no drive. Ideas, but no clarity. You want to fix that? Get grateful. I'm not talking about 5 seconds of mumbling a thank you. You ever wonder why some people can go through hills and still rise up stronger, while others fold under pressure? It ain't about talent. It's not about luck. It's about what's happening in the mind. It's about the internal game. And I'm telling you right now, one of the strongest weapons you can have in your mental toolbox is gratitude. God knows it sounds simple, but don't sleep on it. Gratitude is armor. Gratitude is fuel. Gratitude is what turns pain into power and setbacks into setups. You want mental toughness? You better learn how to say a thank you, even when everything around you is screaming, give up. See, life ain't just about the highs. Anybody can smile when everything is going their way. Anybody can feel strong when the bank account is full, when the body is healthy, when applause is loud. But who when the lights are off? Who are you when the storm hits? That's where real strength is built. And the people who get through those seasons, who don't just survive but come out better, those are the ones who find a reason to be grateful in the middle of the pain. Because gratitude reframes your situation. Gratitude says, yeah, this hurts. Yeah, this is hard, but I'm not a victim. I'm a fighter. And as long as I can breathe, as long as I can think, I can grow through this. When your back's against the wall, gratitude is the voice that whispers, this won't break you. This will make you. This will make you. That voice, that mindset, it's everything. It's how you keep showing up when the odds are stacked. It's how you stay locked in when life tries to knock you off your path. Let me be real with you. You're not going to feel strong every day. You're not going to feel motivated all the time. There will be days when the weight feels too heavy, when the pressure feels like it's crushing your soul. And on those days, motivation might not show up. Discipline might be shaky. But if you got gratitude, you still got fire, because gratitude reminds you of everything you've already survived. It reminds you of the strength you forgot you had. And it reminds you that pain is temporary, but growth is permanent. Some of you are praying for strength, but ignoring the tool that builds it. You're asking for peace, but you're feeding stress. You're asking for clarity, but you're focused on what's missing. Flip it. Start the day with a thank you. I don't care how small it is. Thank you for this bed. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for another shot to fight. Because when you find one thing to be grateful for, creates a ripple. And suddenly your whole attitude shifts. Your energy shifts. And that shift, that change in perspective, is where your strength starts to rise. You ever see someone who's been through the worst but still walks with peace? That's not luck. That's gratitude in action. That's someone who trained their mind not to collapse under chaos. That's someone who, when life said, you can't handle this, looked it in the eye and said, watch me, in the eye and said, watch me. Not because they were fearless, but what they still had, not what they lost. Gratitude doesn't deny the pain. It doesn't pretend the problem doesn't exist. What it does is shift your attention from the problem to the possibility. It helps you look at the challenge and say, I can still learn, I can still move, I can still rise. That mindset, that's mental strength. That's the kind of resilience that can't be bought. That's the kind of fire that keeps you moving forward, even when the path is brutal. Let me tell you something. I've been broken. I've been homeless. I've cried in the dark, wondering if I'd ever make it out. And I'm telling you, gratitude saved me. Not just spiritually, mentally, it reminded me I wasn't finished. It reminded me that even though I didn't have much, I still had something. I still had my mind, I still had my drive, and I was still alive. And if I'm still alive, I'm still alive. Some of y'all need to hear that. If you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. Don't let the enemy of your mind tell you otherwise. You can train your body all day. You can eat clean, work out, read books, post quotes. But if you don't train your mind to focus on what's right, you'll always feel like something's wrong. You'll always feel like you're not enough, like you're behind. But when you train your mind to be grateful, you start tapping into strength that you didn't even know was there. You start walking different. You start speaking different. You start speaking different because you're not reacting anymore. You're responding with purpose. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity to dig deeper, to push further. And gratitude is the shovel that helps you do it. When most people quit, gratitude says, one more round. When most people complain, gratitude says, this is building me. And when most people feel defeated, gratitude said, every single day you wake up and focus on what you lack, you're locking the door to your own blessing. You're standing outside the mansion of your life complaining about the broken gate instead of walking through the front door of everything you already had. I'm telling you the truth. Gratitude is the key. You want abundance, you want overflow, you want to walk in favor and purpose and peace. It starts with a thankful heart. It starts with looking at your life, even if it's not perfect, and saying thank you. I see it, I receive it. See, most people are living in survival mode. They're always thinking about what they don't have, what they haven't achieved, what's missing, and that mindset creates lack. Not because there's nothing available to them, but because their vision is focused on empty. And what you focus on expands. If you focus on fear, you grow fear. If you focus on stress, you grow stress. But if you focus on gratitude, you grow peace. You grow joy. You grow abundance. That's not just spiritual, it's mental, emotional, and even physical. Gratitude flips the script. It changes your energy. It changes your words. It changes how you walk into a room. People can feel it when you're thankful, when you appreciate what you got. You're not desperate. You're not comparing. You're not chasing somebody else's version of success. You're content, but not complacent. You're hungry, but you're not bitter. That's the difference gratitude makes. It puts you in the right vibration. It puts you in alignment with opportunities, with relationships, with doors that only open when your spirit is ready to receive. Let me break this down for you. Some of you are praying for more, but you're not grateful for what you already have. I'm telling you, God, the universe, whatever you believe in, it doesn't work like that. Why would more be handed to someone who can't see the value in what they've already been given? That's not how growth works. That's not how trust works. If you want more, honor what you already got. That job you don't like, show up early and do it with excellence. That body you keep complaining about, thank you for carrying you this far, that little one-bedroom apartment, treat it like a palace. Because when you steward the small, you qualify for the big. And don't get it twisted, this ain't about pretending everything's okay. This ain't about fake smiles or ignoring pain. This is about perspective. This is about deciding that even though you're not where you want to be, you're going to give thanks because you're not where you used to be. You're going to give thanks because progress is still progress. You're going to give thanks because the fact that you can still dream, still fight, still breathe, that means the story ain't over yet. And the more you focus on what's right, the more right things show up. I see people grinding, hustling, doing all the right things externally, but internally, they're empty. You can't feel a soul with success if that soul is starving for appreciation. You gotta feed yourself first. You gotta wake up and say, I'm grateful, even when the money's tight, even when the scale doesn't move, even when your plan doesn't go the way you thought. That attitude, that mindset, it creates resilience. It creates peace. And peace is priceless. You can't buy it. You can't fake it. But gratitude will bring it to you daily. Look, I come from the bottom. I know what it means to struggle. I know what it means to sleep in abandoned buildings. I know what it means to wonder if I'll ever make it. But I also know what it means to say, I thank you in the middle of the pain. And I'm telling you, that's what created space for the breakthrough. That's what kept me open to the lessons. That's what kept me humble enough to grow and bold enough to believe that better was coming. Gratitude didn't just change my attitude. It changed my attitude. When you walk in gratitude, you stop competing. You stop competing. You stop comparing. Because you're not operating from a place of scarcity. You're not thinking that I need what they have. You're thinking, I'm blessed. And my blessings are just valid, just as real, even if they look different. That mindset, that's powerful. Because now you're operating from abundance. And when you do that, you attract more. You attract peace. You attract confidence. You attract energy that matches your frequency. I've seen people with millions in the bank who are miserable. I've seen people with nothing who radiate joy. You know the difference. Gratitude. One is always chasing, always doubting, always feeling like it's not enough. The other wakes up and says, this moment is enough. That kind of power, it doesn't come from the outside. It comes from inside. It comes from practice. You train your mind every day, you remind yourself to see the good. And over time, that mindset compounds, it grows. And before you know it, you start seeing blessings where others only see burdens. And let's talk about relationships for a moment. Because gratitude doesn't just change how you feel about your life, transforms how you treat people. It shifts the entire atmosphere of your relationships, from romantic partnerships to friendships, to co-workers to family. See, when you live with a grateful heart, you naturally begin to value people more. You notice the little things they do. You stop taking them for granted. You start saying things like, "Oh, thank you for being here. I appreciate your effort," or "I'm glad you're in my life." Small words, they carry big power. They build bridges. They soften hearts. They heal wounds. Gratitude makes you more patient, because when you're thankful, you're not in a constant rush to fix people or get something from them. You're not looking at them through a lens of lack or frustration. You're able to pause and say, "You know what? They're doing their best." You give more grace. You let go of petty arguments faster. You stop keeping score. And instead of focusing on who's right, you start focusing on what's right in the relationship. That's the power of gratitude. It redirects your attention from flaws to blessing, from friction to connection. It also makes you more forgiving. When your heart is grateful, it's hard to stay mad. You begin to realize how short life is, how precious time is, and how unnecessary it is to carry around grudges. You start asking yourself, is this worth the energy I'm giving it? Or more often than not, the answer is no. Gratitude shifts your perspective. It says, even though that person hurt me, I can still be thankful for what I learned. Or even though this relationship didn't go as planned, I'm grateful for the memories we shared. That kind of perspective sets you free. It breaks the chains of bitterness and makes space for healing. But it's not just about what gratitude does for you, it's about what it does through you. Because when you operate in gratitude, you become a blessing to others. You become a safe space, an encourager, a reminder of what's good in the world. People are drawn to that kind of energy. They want to be around you. They want to give their best to you. Why? Because people love to feel seen. They love to feel appreciated. And when you consistently express gratitude, you give them that gift. Whether it's your partner, your kid, your team at work, or even strangers you meet, gratitude opens doors in their hearts that would have stayed shut otherwise. And listen, leaders, this part is especially for you. If you want loyalty, if you want a strong team, if you want to build a culture that thrives, start with gratitude. Appreciate your people. Notice the effort. Say thank you. Not just when they hit a goal, but even when they show up on a tough day. When people feel valued, they give more. They trust more. They stay longer. And that applies to every relationship, not just business. Gratitude is also contagious. When you start living in appreciation, people around you start doing the same. You'll notice conversations shift. You'll notice less gossip, less complaining, and more positivity. That's how you change environments. By becoming the thermostat, not the thermometer. You set the tone. And the tone you set through gratitude, it echoes. Let's be honest, life can be hard. Relationships can be messy. But gratitude doesn't require perfection. It only requires awareness. You don't have to have the perfect marriage to be thankful for your spouse. You don't have to have the ideal friendship to appreciate the moments of support. You don't have to wait for someone to be flawless before you show appreciation. Gratitude said, I see the good in you even when things aren't perfect. That kind of love changes people. It heals people. It strengthens bonds. So don't underestimate the power of a thankful heart in your relationships. Don't underestimate what a kind word, a note of appreciation, or a moment of genuine presence can do. Gratitude builds bridges where ego builds walls. Gratitude repairs where pride breaks. Gratitude is the invisible thread that holds the strongest relationships together. Start using it more. Speak it more. Show it more. Let your relationships be rooted in appreciation, not expectation. And watch how everything around you starts to shift from connection to communication to love itself, because where there is gratitude, there is growth, there is grace, and there is greatness. I don't care how hard your life looks right now. I don't care how dark it feels, how heavy the burden is, or how long you've been carrying it. There is something in your life worth being thankful for. You might not see it immediately. You might have to dig through some pain, push through some disappointment, or climb over some fear. But it's there. And that little spark of gratitude, that tiny ember of thankfulness, it has the power to ignite something massive in your life. It can shift your mindset, your energy, and even your direction. Because the truth is, no matter what storm you're going through, there's still light inside of you. You just have to choose to see it. And yes, it's a choice. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a decision. It's something you have to practice, especially when it doesn't come easy, especially when your circumstances are shouting at you to give up, to complain, to blame. It's in those moments where gratitude is the most powerful, when it's the most unnatural, but also the most necessary. Because choosing to be thankful in the middle of the storm tells the storm, you don't control my spirit. You don't dictate my joy. You don't have the final say. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's power. That's resilience in its highest form. And when you find that one thing, just one thing, to be grateful for, speak it. Don't keep it inside. Say it out loud. Write it down. Declare it. Because your words carry power. And the more you speak gratitude, the more you begin to believe it. And when you believe it, you begin to live it. And when you live it, your whole world begins to shift. Maybe not overnight, maybe not all at once, but slowly, piece by piece, you start seeing life through a different lens. You stop looking for what's wrong and start noticing what's right. You stop focusing on what's missing and begin appreciating what's present. Focus is everything. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. If you focus on stress, you magnify it. If you focus on problems, they grow. But if you focus on what's good, even if it's small, even if it's barely visible, you give it room to expand. That's how gratitude works. It multiplies what you honor. It increases what you appreciate. And over time, you begin to realize that maybe, just maybe, your situation wasn't as hopeless as it seemed. Maybe your life wasn't as broken as you thought. Maybe the blessing was there the whole time. You just had to change your angle to see it. You see, negativity has a loud voice. It screams. It demands attention. It tells you to quit. But gratitude whispers. And sometimes you have to get quiet enough to hear. You have to tune out the noise, the opinions, the fear, the pressure, and listen for the still, small voice that says, there's still hope, there's still purpose. You're still breathing. And that means your story isn't over yet. It's not just about big things. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come from the smallest recognition. The warmth of the sun on your skin, the laughter of a child, a kind word from a stranger, a moment of silence where peace washes over you. These things may seem small, but when your heart is open to them, they become sacred. They become anchors. They remind you that life is still worth showing up for. When you start your day with gratitude, you take control of the tone. Before the world has a chance to feed you stress, you feed your soul strength. Before the emails, before the demands, before the chaos, you plant your feet in appreciation. That root grows deep. It becomes your foundation. So even when the winds blow, even when the pressure rises, you're not shaken because you're grounded. Because you know that joy is not in the things, it's in the perspective. It's in the choice to be thankful, even when it would be easier not to be. And here's the beautiful part. When you live like that, you don't just change your life, you influence others. Your energy becomes contagious. People feel it when you walk in the room. They notice your peace, your joy, your presence. And you start becoming a light in their darkness too. You start giving others permission to slow down, to appreciate, to breathe. So no matter where you are in life right now, no matter what's going wrong, what's falling apart, or what's still unfinished, find one thing to be thankful for. Just one. Focus on it. Speak it. Hold on to it. And let that small act of gratitude be the doorway to something greater. Because gratitude doesn't just change how you see the world, it changes how the world responds to you. And that's a shift worth making every single day.